Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Baked Disney, the best of Disney baked fresh daily. I am your host, David, and here today in this episode of Fresh Baked, we're going to be talking about what is new and newsworthy at the Disneyland Resort. And the leading story this week, I guess, would be the coronavirus and whether or not it's having any effect here at the parks. So far, Disney hasn't had anything to say about Disneyland specifically, but other statements have been made. For example, Walt Disney World issued a statement reaffirming their stringent sanitation procedures and that they are in close contact with health agencies for guidance. On that note, I'm not personally second-guessing Disney on their preparedness for this. I know that we're in good hands when it comes to health and safety and that kind of thing. They're always on top of their game in that regard. But with the closure of 3 parks internationally already and talk of sporting events and concerts being canceled here in the States, the question is, would Disney do the same? So far, no, business as usual here in the parks, and the reality really is that it's up to us to do our part to make sure we and other guests are safe. Wash your hands often, don't touch your face, be mindful of others, and perhaps most important, don't come to the parks if you're sick. Now, I've noticed there are basically 2 camps with regard to this situation. One is, it's something serious that needs to be addressed, and we need to be all very mindful of what's happening. And the other camp is that it's being over-exaggerated and that everything's fine. It's nothing more than a harsh flu. I'm not sure. I'm probably 50-50 on that myself. But the fact that Disney has gone ahead and closed 3 parks suggests to me that they are taking it very seriously, they don't make those kinds of decisions lightly. There's a lot of money at stake, a lot of people's careers and jobs and things like that are at stake. So it's an important decision. So they wouldn't just do it because of a panic. They've thought it through. They've considered it, closely. So I guess I would err on the side of caution in this case. And on that note, do your part, Fresh Baked. It's up to us to do our part. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, be mindful of others, and most importantly, don't come to the park if you're sick. Which begs the question, are people staying home? Well, I looked at video from this time last year to try and measure crowd levels, and while the 2 weeks around this time were a bit rainy and cold, it does feel like crowds were more or less the same. Although I should say that as I've been walking around the parks today, there have been instances where I felt like it's definitely less crowded than what I am used to, but then in other times it's as crowded as I'm used to, certainly not more crowded. In fact, Food and Wine on Saturday was kind of intense, actually. So at this point, it does feel like guests are still feeling pretty secure in going to the parks right now. And I do think there are a percentage of locals who may be taking a break for now, but not so much that you would notice, at least not on the weekends anyway. I was here on Wednesday night for the Indiana Jones event, and I do think that it was less crowded than usual. Less crowded, again, than I was expecting, that's for sure. To close our thoughts on this topic, whether or not you go to the parks is entirely up to you. That's a decision that you have to make for yourself and your comfort levels. But whether or not you do, I would reiterate this very important point. Please don't come to the park sick. Second, if you are here, be diligent. Do go ahead and wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Be conscious of others. It doesn't cost you anything to be a little bit more safe, just in case this is the real deal. We'll start at Pixar Pier, where Ian, Barley, and Guinevere from Onward have shown up at the Pixar Promenade. It's a pretty good looking meet and greet, mostly due to having the Onward van on site, which makes a big difference if you ask me. It really sets the scene. Stay tuned to Fresh Bake later this week as we cover this a bit, as well as the new Onward merchandise that showed up at Nick Snacks last week. And then staying at Pixar Pier, just as soon as Jesse's Critter Carousel closed, it reopened again. My guess is that there was a very specific repair that needed to be made, and that was it. And once done, they were able to reopen the ride. Over in Cars Land, we found this new personalized phone case and magnet kiosk setup at Ramon's House of Body Art. Looks like it works a lot like the phone case system we've seen at Star Wars Launch Bay and elsewhere. Looks like they'll serve a variety of iPhone and Android models, and some of the art is focused on the Cars universe, but there is definitely a few non-Cars themed options. You can get characters and other Disney IP. Same for the custom magnets. Does seem to be kind of a new concept. I've personally never really felt like I was being underserved when it comes to Disney magnets, but hey, options are good, right? So just head over to Ramon's at the end of Cars Land to get your own. Speaking of retail areas evolving, this Splash Mountain photo kiosk has closed. This has been here for quite a while and it is no longer open. This is where you would get a framed copy of your Splash Mountain ride photo, and rumor has it, it's going to be converted to a food service. This is per this tweet from Guy Selga. My guess is that it'll be something along the level of Jack Jack's Cookie Num Nums. You know, a single offering, maybe two, nothing too complex, light and easy to deliver. And it's a reasonable move on Disney's part. I would imagine they could probably sell a lot more treats here than picture frames. Maybe even something with honey. You will, of course, still get your picture taken, and you will still be able to get the details, you know, from the same spot as before. You just download it now from the app. And with that, we'll head back to Tropical Hideaway. Wait, Tropical Hideaway? Again? Well, it turns out that they've replaced the beef bao here with the Loco Moco bao. And that's spiced ham, egg, ground beef, and mushroom gravy. Curious that it's Loco Moco because I just tried the Loco Moco at Food and Wine Festival, was not impressed. So I'm a little hesitant on how much I'm going to enjoy this bao here, because of course I have to try it, because of course Disneyland is trying to get me to eat here every single week. And if you want to know how that went, you got to go to Fresh Bake Presents to see our review, which we did there for the Loco Moco bao, and we had a little guest commentator with us, Dylan from Theme Park Obsession, so go check that out. And we're going to do another review with Dylan. That's the PB&J slush that's found at Maurice's Treats. Now again, I tried the PB&J mochi here at Tropical Hideaway, another disaster for me personally, so again, I am very hesitant about how well this is going to go. Well, Fresh Bake, that wraps up what is new and newsworthy at the Disneyland Resort this week. We thank you very much for joining us and ask that you please do take a minute to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. That way you can stay up to date with what's going on with Fresh Baked and at Disneyland. You can also follow us on Twitter at Fresh Baked Disney, that's fresh with no E, and on Instagram at _Fresh Baked. And do also consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/freshbaked. You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and you can get one of these cool stickers, or possibly more. Okay guys, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Fresh Baked. We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!